This is the chat right here.
This is the chat if we want it there. Because normally when I do interviews, I don't really keep the chat open because at some point inevitably they're going to start saying something insane.
Yeah,
it can be kind of distracting as soon as because people they'll start saying R.I.P. Lil Xan, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, wait, what happened to Lil Xan?
Right.
And then you realize that they're just trolling you. There you go. Where's ICP? ICP interview's dropping later today. Hold your horses, guys. Yes.
Oh, sweet. All right.
How's it going? Okay, so guys, no jumper. Midday stream. I'm here with my boy Drake Bell. We're just hanging out. How you doing?
Good, man.
Catching a flight in a couple hours?
Yeah, I'm headed to Ohio. I take a red eye tonight.
For a show?
Yeah, I'm playing this weekend, and then on Monday. I play on Monday, and then off on a whole tour for the next month or so.
Wow.
And then I end it in Mexico. I'm doing a bunch of shows down there, some big festivals like Pal Norte and Acropolis and Oaxaca. Gonna be pretty big, cool.
Got to keep the Mexican fan base happy, huh? Because
Yeah,
that's your bread and butter, huh?
Yeah. Actually, the newest song I have you seen my? Actually, I wanted to show you this. Have you seen my new music video for Fuego Lento?
Oh, I think I did see part of it.
Oh,
I think I've seen
dude.
it on Instagram. But let's check out the full thing.
Oh, you should. Oh, yeah. I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to switch to the smaller.
Me and some friends of mine got together and just went and shot this and had some fun. It was really cool.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
We don't have to watch the whole thing, but
Let's check it out, though. Fuck
get
it.
the idea. Fuego. Yeah, just put Drake Bell. Yeah, that one there.
Wow, that's quite a thumbnail you got right there. My kind of thumbnail. Where was this filmed?
Just here in LA.
Really?
Just like in North Hollywood a little bit.
She triggered all the right boxes.
We flew her out. Yeah.
Wow, I love it. So what was the idea with this song or this different direction? How would you describe what you were going for with this?
Well, I mean, I go to I have a big fan base in Latin America. I put some records out a few years ago, and they did really well down there. And so I've been doing a lot of touring and go out there and play these big festivals. And I don't know. I think I just got inundated with that sound, and then I came back and was in the studio, and I was like, man, I want to do something like this, because seeing how the audience reactions and all that stuff, it was just kind of, I don't know. Being independent and not signed, it's sort of like I want to do everything. I'm a fan of so many different styles of music that to just sit there and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a rock and roll record. That means that my next record has to be a rock and roll record, and the next record, like the last record I made before all of this stuff, was a total rockabilly record with Brian Setzer.
Right.
That sounds like the 1950s, And then this stuff is, this is kind of more reggaeton or Latin vibe, and then the stuff that I was working on the last time I was in here talking to you is all more, urban hip hop, kind of more in that vein. So it's kind of like I don't know. If I hear it and I dig it and I want to play that kind of music, I just kind of that's why I don't really release full albums either. It's kind of, here's a song. Here, the new one that I'm just putting out is 3 songs. I just did a full Spanish version of this that I'm going to release.
I mean, if 6ix9ine can be this gangster rapper who then came out and dropped these Spanish-sounding songs did ridiculously well, did just as well as his other songs.
Exactly.
In a weird way, that made me realize, like, if you have star power and if
Cardi
people
too
like
does
you,
it. Like
Cardi's another good example.
All over the place with the styles of music. It's like Maroon 5 and then Bruno and then all this harder stuff and it's so. I think that just, especially nowadays with the ability to kind of just have full access to your fans, and like Gary Vee says all the time, it's like content. It's like, it's like I get to go in, like I did a cover of Gucci Gang just for fun, and if I was on a label, somebody'd be like, oh, dude, you can't release that right now because we're pushing this other album and this is what we're working on, and everything. But I'm so excited, and I'm like, but it's funny and I want to put it out right now. Well, I can. And
a lot of people, a lot of creativity gets lost once you end up in that kind of environment where there's so many people that get to have a say in what you're doing. And there's so many things in Hollywood that reflect that when you look at major motion pictures that end up being completely distorted versions of what they originally intended to be.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that, to appealing to a really big market, and you need to be able to make choices in that way or whatever. But I think there's a lot to be said. Myself personally, I feel like I gravitate more towards music where the artist feels comfortable to just experiment and do what they want.
Well, exactly. And I think a lot of that is just executives with the fear of losing their job or taking a risk and it not turning out the way that they imagine, and then their boss firing them or demoting them for that, you know? And that makes people not take chances or do things with an artist that they would do otherwise. And then that stifles the artist, and the artist suffers because some guy in an office is afraid to just make a decision, you know? And if he doesn't make a decision, then he's guaranteed to not make a wrong decision. So he's still going to keep his job. He's still going to be able to have that company card. He's still going to be able to have his office. He's still going to be able to have. But if he makes that wrong decision, you know, so it's a lot of these executives when you get on these labels. If you're not one of these hard hitting artists, you know, you get stifled because people are just playing it safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of incentive to when you're part of a major label to not necessarily go too outside the boundaries of what maybe your boss wants you to do, because if you start pushing hard to take a risk on an artist and that artist doesn't work out, that'll reflect really badly on you. But if you sort of sit back and only pounce on opportunities that seem like sure things that your boss is going to approve of you making that move, and that's kind of that governs a lot of like the A&R way of thinking.
Yeah, it really does. And it's I don't know, it's really nice to be able to, you know, get home from tour and be like, shit, I want to go in and record like did stuff with Tank God on this last one, and Cassius Clay, and like
Tank God produced Rockstar for Post Malone. That's a big one.
Yeah. And he's done some other really cool stuff, and so it's really, you know, it's like if I want to go in and do that, then cool. And if I want to put this friend on the record, cool. If I want to write with this guy, then I just have the freedom to do whatever I want. It's pretty rad.
You want to check out one of the songs from your new project? So how's this release going to work in terms of these songs?
Well, I mean, I basically just put everything on TuneCore whenever I want to like just put something out.
Right.
And then, so this should be, there it is.
So we actually have the album cover right here.
Yeah, this should be out, I don't know, in the next few days or something. Okay. This is just sort of, I was excited to get this music out, so this isn't like anything like some big official release or anything like that.
But is it on Spotify?
It'll be on everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, okay, let's check out. So Smoke It Up.
Yeah, Smoke It Up.
The title track.
Yeah.
All right. So, but they can't actually see this
right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Smoke it on for it dries up. Pass the ball, I'ma light up.
Oh shit.
See the prize, keep your eyes up. Let's smoke it up. Let's smoke it up.
Hey, we can't smoke it up on the show, by the way.
Can you smoke here?
Yeah, this ain't Larry King. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's California.
It is California as well. You got a big bag of Barewoods going on. I actually have a blunt that I rolled earlier. And I'm going to show you this Barewoods crazy weed pen that I'm trying to give to you too. This thing is incredible.
What is this?
This is basically like, it looks like a blunt. But it's like a vape type thing. I just yanked it apart by accident.
I'ma do me, so you do you. I'm in an all black coupe, gonna take it to the moon.
That's so rad, dude. You look
Take it to the moon.
You look like Scarface.
Take it to the moon.
I've brought that thing on many an airplane. Let's just
No way.
it's easy to take it wherever.
It looks like a cigar.
It looks like one. It's hard. It's like a dab.
Playing my song, good sir, and it's always this hot.
Let's smoke it up. Let's smoke it up. Mary Jane's got me tied
Nice, right?
up.
Yeah.
That's my gift to you from
Backwoods by the
Barewoods.
fire.
Boys over at Barewoods
On the
are
stars
big
getting
fans
higher.
of
Smoking roll after roll after roll. Try to feel your touch. Did I smoke too much? Just to feel what I wanted. Just to feel what I wanted. When the sun goes down, smoke is all around. Breathe it all in.
By the way, I like that a lot.
Thanks, dude.
What kind of environment were you in when you recorded that? What kind of mind state?
Smoking a bunch of weed.
Right. So is that standard for your studio sessions?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a creative environment, and in that one, it was cool. It was me, it was Cassius Clay, and my buddy Kid Kazi, and yeah, it's just the three of us. He came in with a cool beat, and then actually he sent us a pack over, and then this one just I loved that whole '70s vintage sound. It just like is so chill,
Gets you in that mind frame.
Yeah, and then we just kind of.
You've been smoking for a long time?
I mean, growing up in California, it just kind of goes with the territory.
Ain't that the truth? You think people are ever surprised?
Probably.
I wondered because we were outside earlier. And I was taking pictures with some fans. And they were all hyped or whatever, and then you walk out, and they're all, "Oh my God!" Because sometimes I wonder. Drake and Josh seems like a long time ago. Sometimes I wonder to what extent like the younger fans know what's going on, but as soon as you walked outside, they just lit up. Dude, I was like,
yeah, it's wild. I mean, that
makes me hyped just to know, like, because sometimes I wonder, like, I've only been popping for a couple years.
Right.
You've been popping for a long ass time. Seeing how excited they were, I was like, okay, nice.
I don't know. It's cool. It's cool being able to like go all over the world and see like, the show's still airing. So I get young kids, college kids, high school kids, like older adults that grew up on the show. That are my age because it was my childhood too. So, but yeah, it's really cool to just kind of see that there's not really a set demographic for the show. It's cool.
That's badass, man. So when you are working on your music these days, like give me the kind of stuff that inspires you. Are you just in the studio as often as possible and just working on whatever ideas?
Well, I'm on the road all the time.
Right.
I'm on the road all the time. So whenever I'm home, I try to get into the studio. And yeah, I mean, I just want to put out cool music that I want to listen to, that I want to listen to in my car, that I want to listen to at the club, that I want to listen to, that just makes me feel good. And yeah, like I said, not being pigeonholed or stifled anymore, especially like not being on, a Nickelodeon or not being tied to like a label or anything like that. It's cool to just be able to go in and grab, friends and not be stuck having to, think, oh man, we can't do that because it doesn't sound like the rest of the record, or it doesn't sound like what the label expects from us, or the fans are gonna, and that's the cool thing too, is fans, I think, are more receptive to artists being more eclectic now than before. I mean, like Maroon 5, for example. I mean, Maroon 5 has they got full on rock and roll, full pop, hip hop, urban, like they're all over the place, and the fans accept them across the board. I don't know. There's just like a lot more acceptance for eclectic artists.
There's something to be said for just good music in general, because I feel like if you already have that connection to your fans and then you put out a song and it sounds different, but it sounds good, It's like, what's going to hold them back from wanting to support you? Because we are kind of in that social media star generation. I feel like if you put out Gummo, I mean, what would have stopped it from being as big as the 6ix9ine version of Gummo?
It's like, as long as it's good. I think that's true. That you're right. As long as it's like good music now,
Yeah, and I think we've seen that, on a personal level. I feel like the media tried to like really clown Tyga for a few years. They tried to really like make fun of him and stuff, but his revenge this year was just making really fucking good music. Like, hey, here's some undeniable hits. You guys been clowning me for the past year. Suck my dick. I'm Tyga. It doesn't matter. Screw you guys.
And there's a lot of artists, and that's kind of what it is. It's always been in art in general. Is just like, you want to clown on somebody, but then they back it up with like talent, or they back it up with like, well, go see that person live. Go see that person's live show.
Right.
And then you're like, oh man, the guy's a freaking entertainer. Like, I had no idea. Like Lil Pump, for example. Like. And, someone listen to the record and be like, what is this? What is it? And then you go see him live, and he's undeniable. It's like this little mild-mannered kid, and then all of a sudden he gets on stage and the whole thing explodes, and he's got like 7,000 people just like, tearing down the house. It's undeniable. You know, it's like modern day Elvis or something.
And people's argument is always like, oh, this music takes no talent. These guys are no good, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that from my perspective, I'm aware of thousands of other kids, artists who are trying to basically do the same thing and pump out something special. You might not necessarily appreciate it. I'm from the perspective where if I see some like young YouTuber, you know, when I first found out about JoJo Siwa a couple months ago, and I watched it and I had to watch a bunch more because I'm like just trying to wrap my head around it because it's just so different than anything. But you know what was actually crazy is I watched some of her videos that are like aimed at her fans and was just like, this is insane. And then I watched her actually do a video driving around with Josh.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yo, this girl's smart. She's like a fucking smart ass businesswoman. Like, she might be kind of playing a character on camera and stuff. But that's the perspective that I like to come into art from is if it doesn't make sense to me, I want to just try to wrap my head around it. I want to know why people like this. Well, that's what it is.
I mean, it's kind of funny when people are like, oh, well, this isn't art. This isn't it's like, it's the same thing people say when they don't understand a Picasso or they don't understand a Basquiat or Pollock or something. And they're like, wait a minute, you know, I could do that. Right. It's like, well, then why isn't there 1,000 Jackson Pollocks? Like, if everybody can just splatter paint on a canvas, or if everybody can, you know, paint squares, why isn't there, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
1,000 Picassos, you know, it's somebody did something, but they did it differently, you know, or did something that nobody else has done before, and then everybody else just tries to copy it, you know, so.
That's very true. You know, I was just thinking about my podcast, we sit a lot closer together than Joe Rogan's. And I wonder how much that affects people mentally. I realize this is completely out of left field.
Yeah, they sit across from each other on Joe's.
Because I wonder, like, to what extent our conversation would be different if you were, like, 8 feet away from me.
Well, it'd be harder to pass the blunt.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I feel like they find a way. Do they use Jamie as an intermediary?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. He always delivers it. Jamie always delivers it. I know that.
I mean, they got the ill setup where they have the TV screen and the guy can just pull up whatever he wants at any time for him. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Were you at all inspired by when you saw Elon Musk smoking weed on Joe Rogan?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
He didn't hit it, though. He didn't hit it, really.
I know. It was kind of like one of those, like, I didn't inhale, you know, kind of things. But
I mean, he could have inhaled like 10% of it, but it felt like 90% of it went in his mouth and then left his mouth.
The memes were amazing afterwards, like just saying like, or like, okay, now we're definitely gonna colonize Mars. Like all these amazing memes that came out of that were awesome.
I mean, Elon Musk is a case study in how to be a celebrity at this point. But I mean, he's also seen the limits. I'm glad that you're not the owner of a Tesla.
No, I don't have a Tesla, no.
You don't? Oh, not. No. I mean, I meant the company as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. He lost like $40 million. But because he joked around about the share price.
That's crazy.
It's because, you know, he's living his whole life. He's living the kind of straight-laced sort of life. He's this business guy. And then all of a sudden he starts hanging out with this little indie rock princess Grimes. And then she's got this wacky sense of humor. Yeah. She's ironic. She's irreverent. He's like, oh, I too can make a joke.
Yeah.
No, you can't joke around about the share price of what you're going to go private at.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. That was probably one of the most bizarre stories. And if Trump wasn't president, maybe that would have got some more burn. But everything's just going crazy in general.
It's wild world, man. That's why it's like, you know, just staying on the road, staying in the studio, staying creative, staying out of the.
Are you on social media a lot?
I mean, for what it's worth, I don't really spend a lot of time on it.
Right. You're not like digging through the like terrible Twitter threads of people arguing and stuff.
No. Every time like TMZ comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, what do you think of this new?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I just got off an airplane."
Right. Is that it? What do they typically say to you when they pull up on you?
It's just whatever the hottest topics are of the time. Right. You know, what do you think?
What do you think about Cardi B?
Yeah. What do you think of Justin and Haley, or what do you think of it? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. And if I follow any news, like, definitely ain't that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing is that as a celebrity, people expect that, like, people on Twitter and stuff expect you to be as interested in the intricacies of other celebrities as they are, as the people who are watching you.
Or that you're all friends. They're always like, oh, did you reach out to so-and-so when, you know, if somebody's having some crisis or they're in the news because of something, you know, they're like, oh, did you reach out to so-and-so? I'm like, I've never met them. I don't know. I hope they're okay. But I don't know. There's not some club that we all. It's not like the Illuminati where we all just kind of like meet in dark cloaks after hours in some castle at the top of the
bowling
Hollywood
alley
Hills
in the
or
valley.
something. Yeah. It'd probably be more of like at the Pickwick. Yeah, we all hang out at the Pickwick and.
Man, because nowadays it's like you can get taken down for not just what you have done, but even who you associate with. Because I noticed there was a Pitchfork article about the fact that Meek Mill is friends with the owner of the Patriots because the owner of the Patriots supports Trump and shit.
Yeah.
So Meek Mill's not even allowed to be friends with a 70-year-old white guy because he's friends with another 70-year-old white guy who's a dickhead.
Dude, this is wild, man. Yeah, social media really has just like, it affects everybody and it makes everybody like, everyone's a policeman all of a sudden, Everyone's an investigator.
Everything. Everybody's a journalist.
Yeah, everyone's a journalist. Everyone's an investigator. Everyone's a private eye.
As you can see here, my last order from Postmates was from Oi Asian Fusion. I just want to point that out.
Dope.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was pretty solid. So which song should we play next?
Play The Plan.
Okay.
We just pulled up in a drop top, Bobby rockin' wires, so she with a Gucci crop top.
Oh, we got 2,000 people watching us live. They're enjoying it.
Bobby rockin' wires, so she got that Gucci crop top. And I got bands. Shorty said that I'm the man. And I got bands. Shorty said that I'm the man. Yeah, you know the plan. We can go and blow these racks.
I could get down to this in the club for sure.
We can go and blow these racks.
This one's sensual.
Sure they wanna hang with the kid on the low. If you got a man, well then he ain't gotta know. Pull up to your crib, open up the phone door. Higher than a plane, ET phone on. I got all the shoes on me, bitches running to me when I pull up to the party. I got stacks of bands on me, get it then I spend it, yeah I'm tryna get it off me. She said the kid got away. She said yeah, she said the kid got away. But I can't be falling in love cause you know I'm busy on that paper chase, yeah. We just pulled up in a drop top, Bobby rockin' wires, so she with a Gucci crop top. We just pulled up in a drop top, Bobby rockin' wires, so she got that Gucci crop top. Then I got bands. Shorty said that I'm the man.
This one's hard.
And I got bands.
This next verse is funny.
We got to get a rapper featured on
This next verse is actually kind of about what we were just talking about.
Okay.
All the like TMZ.
Cancel culture?
Yeah.
Okay. TMZ song. Dedicated to TMZ. Dedicated to the Hollywood Fix.
Girl, you know the plans to be up in the phone, we can roll a gram. Riding on the coast, stop, drive, pretend at the city for a little, blow a couple bands. Rockstar life, live camera action. Paparazzi follow me like an attraction. Tip top fits, passion for the fashion. This is just a stalker, we about to hit the mansion. This is just a stalker, we about to hit the mansion. We just pulled up in a drop top, Bobby rockin' wires, so she with a Gucci crop top.
All right. I can see Rich the Kid. I can see Blueface. I can see Tyga. I could imagine a variety of rappers doing work on this beat.
Hell yeah, get them on it.
That could be a moment, dude. This could Cole Bennett premiere. That'd be epic. No, that was hard, man. There's no denying it. Damn, that was badass. So what? This is the other one. Okay, we got MIA and we got Coming Back.
Play well, let's see. Those two are pretty chill. Let's play play MIA.
Okay.
Or actually, no. Do the Tank God one because we talked about.
And which one's that?
Do that Coming Back, yeah.
Okay.
This one, I got my friend Lil Mama on this one.
Lil Mama? Oh yeah, I forgot about that connection. Yes.
This one's just like super chill.
Okay. Also, get your exotic sodas at 7669 Melrose out here at the Entree Shit Store.
What did I do last night?
Come break the bank. We're issuing payday loans.
Fuck it, only live one life. Said I was on my way. Swear that my phone just died.
Also, shout out to Barewoods for supplying the
Fuck
kush.
it, only live one life. Cocaine clouds on the ceiling. While cold train drowns all the feeling. Every night's up for a weekend. Am I alright? not alright. I'm coming back for you. I'm coming back for you. I thought that I lost you. That's just paranoia. Could say that I'm sorry, but it's never enough. I followed the money, but that shit isn't love. I'm coming back for you. I know I've been down this road. I'm swerving, I'm out of control. I'm forward, I'm backwards, I'm sober, relapsing. I love it, that's all that I know. That's all that I know. Just don't let me go. Forward, I'm backwards, I'm sober, relapsing. I love it, I'm ready to go.
I just wanna lay here.
Oh.
Got a show tonight, yeah, yeah. I can spend all day here. Got hair and makeup waiting on me. Still I gotta prepare. Where am I? I'm gone. I don't need to stay here. Yeah, 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 yeah. My mind is tripping. I'm wishing that I could spend every minute. And with this life that I'm living, I'll be surrounded by women and men that love me 'cause I'm winning, yeah, yeah. They only love me 'cause I'm spinning, yeah, yeah.
Lil Mama.
Cocaine clouds
right?
on the
Nice to hear
ceiling.
from her.
While
Man,
cold
she
train
comes in
drowns
just
all the
lays,
feeling.
dude. It's unreal.
Every night's up for a weekend. Am I alright?
So how would you describe the
I'm
subject
not
matter
alright.
on this song? It's about
coming back.
partying. It's about
Yeah,
getting a
it's-
little bit too
Well,
loose.
what I imagined is like when she came in, I didn't really know. It was sort of just like a guy, like just like Rockstar after after a night of partying, you know. But then I got when she put her verse on there, it was kind of dope. It sounded like the story was almost like, for some reason, I was thinking of like G-Eazy and Halsey.
Right.
Like after Coachella, like they partied too hard or something the night before their show, and they're like, "Oh shit, I have to," because she's like, "I just want to lay here, but I got a show tonight, you know, got hair and makeup waiting on me, but I just want to lay here."
Right.
And so it was almost like these two rock stars, because like, you know, this big rock star guy, this big rock star girl, but they partied too hard the night before like their show, like their big festival show at Coachella.
Right.
And now they're like, shit. And then coming back for you was almost, I was saying it to a girl, but now it's almost like they're saying it to their fans. Like, don't worry, we're going to get our shit together and we'll make the show and we're coming back for you. So don't worry, we'll make the show even though we're kind of
when I think about
burning the
like
candle at both ends.
when I think about a G-Eazy, I picture him as being like invincible to the kind of hangovers that I'm used to getting.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's the rock star invincibility, you know. It's
I'm sure that's not really the case. Or I just imagine that other people are better at fighting through it than me because I'm 35.
I think everyone feels that way.
Right,
Everyone's
yeah,
like,
okay.
everyone else must be better at this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, because this hurts.
And especially because it's like a lot of the dudes who work in the store or whatever, they're 20, 21, whatever. They're basically invincible compared to me in terms of ability to recover from a hangover.
Well, I mean, I mean that's why I don't drink. I don't like that. I don't like hangovers. I don't like the way it makes me feel. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and then it just like with traveling and being you gotta with traveling, drinking and partying. It's just you can't. It's almost impossible. You know what I mean? I mean,
If you're the kind of person
you get burnt out at a certain point. Like,
if you're
you
the
can
kind of
do it,
person
but to maintain it.
who wants
over
to
a
be super productive, which
Yeah.
I would say we're both probably in that category where it's like we have shit that we want to get done every day.
100%.
And if you're spending many hours at night getting fucked up and then many hours being hungover in the morning,
It's just a complete waste.
it's hard to justify.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, I love getting up early in the morning before everybody else is awake, get my time to get in the gym, do my thing, and then by 8 o'clock and I'm having my breakfast, starting my day, everybody's waking up.
Right.
You know, and I've already done, you know, all the stuff for me. And now I can start concentrating on, you know, business and what I have to get done that day and
Right.
what, you know, all of my goals and all that kind of
It's
stuff.
tough though too because then inevitably sometimes when you've gotten up at 4 or 5 to start working or whatever, then you end up being in a situation like in the studio or something where all of a sudden you want to be up till 4 in the morning and it's just tough to be
That's
like
the tough
stay
thing
on a
too,
schedule.
especially recently. When I was recording music back in the day, you know, sessions were 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, meet there at noon, you know, and now it's like sessions don't start till 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then you don't really you don't really get rolling till about 10, 11, and then the creative juices start really flowing around midnight, and then you're then you're really recording the song till about 4 a.m. And so yeah, I mean, but if it's all about like balance, you know. If I'm in the studio till 4 o'clock, then the next day I'm gonna sleep in, but I know that I got something done really productive the night before. I wasn't just out hanging out with my bros and, you know, playing beer pong, not getting anything done, talking to them about all the stuff I'm gonna do. You know, I was actually getting shit done. So so I'll take a little nap the next morning, you know. But yeah, the studio life is hard to maintain the early mornings, but
a lot of my friends are getting in the studio right about the time that I'm going to bed, like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, what happens is
and they'll be there till 9.
The club closes, and then they all head over to the studio.
I'm talking about people that don't even go to the club, but that's a good point too, because if you're trying to make music after the club, oh my God.
No, I mean, that's what happens in a lot of these studios. We're booking time, and they're like, oh, they just booked. I'm like, well, how do you have it booked from 2 a.m. to 5? And they're like, they come in after the clubs, you know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
You hit the club still?
I mean, sometimes, not really. I mean, that's not really my scene. I don't know. I like being able to hang out and talk with people, you know. I don't really like going in and not being able to hear.
That experience of screaming in somebody's ear is rough.
Not my vibe,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in some really cool city that I've never been to, and or that it's a cool city that I love, like if I'm in New York or if I'm somewhere and I get invited out, then I'll go. But I don't really seek out. I don't get to New York on Friday night and go, oh, let's find where the cool clubs are, you know.
Right.
I'd rather like, you know, some really nice steakhouse and then head out to a lounge afterwards. It's got like, you know, maybe some live music playing, and then, you know, we can have like some nice cocktails, chat, and all that kind of stuff. That's my vibe.
I'm about to ask you the worst question ever. How do you feel about the Gucci boycott? Warning, there's no safe answer on this. I'm sure there's you can find a safe answer.
Well, they, you know, Dapper Dan,
right. He's turning it into a pivotal moment for the brand. It feels like that's a good point.
Well, he called him on the carpet, you know, and made him respond, and they had that meeting up in Harlem, and so they're doing all they can to, you know, to make it right, which I think is right. You know, you know, if something has that kind of impact, and you know, there's a mistake that's such a clear mistake that's made, such as that, then yeah, to rectify it's the right thing to do, and you know, and I think that the way that Dapper Dan went about it is, I think, the best way that they could have done it. So I'm looking forward to see all of initiatives that they've set forward to kind of come into play.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I mean, it is just like an elephant in the room that Gucci doesn't seem to really try to foster relationships with a lot of the biggest advocates for their brand. And if this can be anything, I mean, it would be nice to think that could be some sort of end result. I mean, and it was like the public outcry about the Dapper Dan situation a couple of years ago that has him even in the position to have this kind of say within the brand. So you are kind of seeing the benefits of this public dialogue happening with Gucci, that there is progress being made.
Totally. Absolutely.
What is I mean, you just snap on the gram from time to time. You just show up with a fit that is just boom, just in your face. Just check me out. I'm Drake Bell. I'm dripping. I don't give a fuck. What is the mentality?
The mentality? I don't
know. Got a photographer home you call up and you're just like, let's just break the net real quick.
No, I don't. I just, I don't know. I've always loved fashion. I've always been a huge fan of fashion. And so, I don't know, ever since I was a little kid, man, you know, it's like rock and roll and music and fashion always go hand in hand, you know? I mean, look at all the biggest artists, and then you're going to immediately think of their fashion. So, you know, go all the way back to Sinatra and Elvis and then the, you know, 70s punk rock and I mean, you name anybody and you immediately also think of their attire, you know, and their fashion sense, you know, like, you know, so I don't know, I think that fashion and music and rock and roll go hand in hand.
Hey man, respect.
So I've just always been a fan of fashion.
Respect for the drip. It's a hell of a thing. I don't know, I feel like the older I get, the more I
cool.
don't have it in me.
I don't know, it's weird now, you know, people are like, oh, it's about posting for the gram or flaunting or whatever, but I don't know, I've just always been, it's not really about that for me. I just love, it's like art to me almost, you know, like high fashion it's like they're works of art, and especially if you're looking at like haute couture, like these really fine handmade pieces. You look at like Chanel or Alexander McQueen, for example, and these are artists that are these beautiful handmade pieces, and people are like, oh, why do you spend so much for it's not about. It's the same thing as like, well, it's like buying a Picasso or something. It's like, this is, there's 7 of these. There's 100,000 of these Levi's, but there's 7 of these pieces in this size because they were handmade by, these artists, basically. These are artists, so I don't know. So I think I just kind of look at it a little differently.
Do you see that Shane Dawson documentary you did about Jeffree Star?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, it was great content. And Jeffree Star has the most absurd amount of handbags, Gucci stuff in general.
He's got a collection, dude.
Outrageous. There's a point where he walks into this room and it's just wall-to-wall handbags, and he's just pointing at one of them. He's like, "That was $250,000." Yeah. And Shane does this whole act the whole time. He's like, "Oh," like he's just in complete and total awe of it. But at the same time, those are good investments apparently, which I didn't really know, but apparently they...
Doesn't Drake have... I think Drake has a collection of Birkins. Like, he just collects...
But he's saving them for his future girl, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. He's like, some future girl's going to love him. But no, these are $200,000 bags, and he just has a huge closet full of them.
I mean, if he's got all these millions of dollars sitting in the bank...
Didn't he just buy a $400,000 phone case? I just saw...
That's real?
I don't know.
I didn't look into it, but I love this.
I don't know. I don't know if it's real.
Even for Drake, that's a little bit audacious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
400,000. I don't know. That's crazy. Did
you got to keep up with it.
And then in a couple months, the phone's not going to fit in the case.
That's a good point.
So
yeah, but I mean, it's going to be a good couple of months that you're the flyest motherfucker in the entire world, right?
That's very cool. That's very true.
I guess. I don't know. But Drake is like barely even seen in public. So it's like, who the hell is even seeing this phone?
Yeah, where does he go?
I don't know. You never like, what is he doing like that? He's even being seen. That's the funny thing to me is that like one night I'm sitting in the studio with Juice WRLD and him and like 4 of his friends are sitting there and they all got, $800 to $1,000 shoes on.
Yeah.
They're just in the studio. There's nobody to witness it. It's just me. It's like there's a lot of and these shoes are not comfortable. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And what are the other people that you're hanging out with have that you need to show up with a $400,000 phone case?
Right.
Like what are your friends showing up at the hang with that you need to go? Man, how do I step it up? All right, $500,000 on a phone case.
Yeah. It's also just...
I want to know what those other people have.
It's an order of magnitude when you consider that almost everyone has a phone case that costs less than $100.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's just wished
like
really
way less
out there.
Like way less than $100. Yeah. Like $100 if it has a battery connected to it.
$400,000 is a good amount of money for like a home.
I was just going to say a house. Like that, and that's a mansion.
Right. In most parts of America,
country,
yes.
That's a mansion. Mm-hmm. That's where you walk in. You have a library, you have 5 bedrooms. That's you have basketball court, tennis court for $400,000, easy. Right.
What's been your most audacious? What's your $400,000 phone case?
My $400,000 phone case.
Anything that you've ever done
clothes.
That was just clothes in general.
Clothes, yeah, just clothes. I have a bad expensive clothes habit.
Yeah.
And I always have, but that's probably what I spend most of my money on.
Right. I don't even think I have anything in that regard, really.
But nothing that would equate to that.
A $400,000 phone case. Yeah.
No, nothing like that.
I really hope that's real.
That would be dope.
But also the thing.
It was a cool phone case, but it also just looks like
he could probably get someone to just give him that. Like if he says,
true too, right?
This phone case was made by so and so. He tags him once.
Maybe
boom.
he did that, right? Like
a free $400,000 phone case.
Maybe that's what it was, and that's why it has so much press.
Right. I mean, because that easily somebody would pay him $400,000 to even just put something on his story or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You ever do anything like that? You got any endorsements that we should know about? Anything you want to disclose?
No, I don't really do many endorsements. I do stuff if I'm into something, I do it, but I don't really like seek out. Like if I'm into the company, I'll seek them out, but I don't really have like. If people come to me I don't just hawk something to hawk it,
Have you ever been in dialogue with Gucci as a brand?
No. They don't really do. I mean, they have like Harry Styles and Lana Del Rey. And Jared Leto's like Alessandro's best friend. So,
because do you know Trouble Andrew?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
Because the first time I ever got to talk to him, that was one of the questions I was most excited to ask him. Was just, what is it like working with Gucci? And I mean, he basically described it as them letting him do almost everything that he wants to do, and that they're pretty much
that's what
they just trust him.
Saying,
I mean, his stuff is dope, so I guess it's probably a pretty easy relationship.
Amazing. Yeah, I went over to his studio, and it's
so
like,
sick, right?
It's sick.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and he's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just hit him up on Instagram, and see, that's what we were talking about last time we were here, and you're like about reaching out just on Instagram, like it's wild, and he just hit me back. He's like, yeah, come on over.
Yeah. I
was like, holy crap. And I actually was in town just by chance. And so I rolled over, and he was so rad. We hung out and watching him paint all these freaking amazing jackets and just all the,
He's got
like,
so
it's
many
Gucci Ghost Art. It's like, it's so sick.
He's got so many collaborations and shit that like nobody knows about that he's
like the
done.
Reebok collaboration he did.
He had some Sesame Street thing that he was doing when he was there, and just hearing his like insight into how he approaches these things was just just seeing that studio just made me like, damn, why did I not become an artist?
Yeah,
that would have been a nice, like, I'm sure I don't have the talent or anything, but if you like, that would just be such a sick feeling to just have this huge room of just all this art, and you're just cranking out. Just
that's
sick.
the one thing is like,
just
that's a perfect example of, it takes us back to when you were talking about when someone listens to Lil Pump or something, they're like, oh, this is garbage. But then you're like, no, I know so many other people that are trying to do this. There's something special about this. This is different. It's the same thing. You walk into Trouble's studio, and the normal person would walk in and go, it kind of just looks like something. I mean, I could do this. Put some paint on the wall and do this. But then you start looking around and really taking it in, and you're like, oh shit, that's really clever. Or, oh man, that thing over there where he has, the Poison band logo, but it's on Marlboro cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, that's actually that's really clever. And then you start really taking it all in, and you're like, oh wait, no, he's actually a really brilliant artist. Okay.
It's crazy to me too, because he was a pro snowboarder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
I hope it was snowboarding and not
Well, he's
skiing.
from Canada, so that makes sense.
Right, but that was his thing for a long time, and then that's how he got into doing design, and then he started doing his own thing, and eventually his shit got so weird that all of a sudden the snowboard community like didn't really get it, I guess, and then he just ended up branching out into his own world and stuff, and it's like, I guess I've talked to people who told me that he was like their favorite snowboarder, like he was the sickest snowboarder of that era. Like he was very significant, but it was kind of like before the internet was documenting snowboarding and stuff, so it was like not really, it's not really like a record of it so much, I guess, unless you have like the magazines or something maybe. You want to play this MIA song? This is the one we didn't play, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's still kind of a work in progress.
Okay. And we got 3,100 people watching us right now. What's
It's
up,
not
guys?
a problem if you want it, babe.
You got to chat up?
Take the G5 anyway. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Top floor of the Mandalay. From Blue to Montego Bay. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Tell me where we're going to. I'ma let you choose. We could get lost on an ocean cruise. Penthouse floor, just enjoy the view. We can make love on the
chat now if you didn't get the idea.
When we are alone, don't answer your phone. I'ma leave no part of you untouched. I'm the only one that you could trust. When we out here, baby, it's just us. Yeah. Give me a time and a place. I'm gonna give you a taste.
Which one you laughing at?
Hop on the jet, babe. You never forget, babe. Flying up in the air with a billionaire. Take you anywhere. It's not a problem if you want it, babe. Take the G5 anyway. Thinking maybe we'll go
That's the funniest shit.
maybe we'll go MIA. Top floor of the Mandalay. From Blue to Montego Bay. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Margaritas in Cabo, black Murcielago. Walk up to the plane, land in Tokyo. Sex in Spain where we take it slow. Pop champagne wherever we go.
They're not on Spotify yet. They're gonna be out like this week. They'll be out in the next few days.
I love reading the chat. We should have this up all the time. It's too entertaining.
Post Malone wannabe, dope. That means it sounds like Post Malone.
It's not a problem.
Sounds like Get Josh on the remix.
Take the G5 anyway.
I'll talk to him about that.
Maybe we'll go MIA. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Top floor of the Mandalay. From Blue to Montego Bay. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Doesn't matter if you want it. I take the black card out my wallet.
Someone said, what genre do you consider
Get you
this?
anything you want.
I don't know.
I have you dripping like a faucet.
I don't know.
Neo Soul.
Yeah, I don't know.
Luis
Vibey?
Despacito.
Oh, yeah.
Hasta
Getting
que
down
hayas
on
escrito
tracks,
nada
bro.
bendito.
Music
Hasta
has
que
no
hayas escrito
borders.
nada bendito.
Exactly, I don't know.
It's not a problem if you want it, babe. Take the G5 anyway. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA. Top floor of the Mandalay.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
From Blue to Montego Bay. Thinking maybe we'll go MIA.
Adam vibing like G-Eazy in the Tatiana video. I'll take it. He's one of the fresher white guys on the scene these days, so if I could get compared to him, I'll take it. I think I definitely look a little bit more aged than him.
Oh, no, that's
I've spent a bit more time in the sun. He'll get to this point that I'm at sooner or later. I feel a little weathered. So, shit. Anything else we should talk about?
I don't know. How long have we even been on? I know the last time we went so long.
How long did we've been on? 43 minutes or 48 minutes or something like that? 48 minutes.
48 minutes.
2,900 people watching.
Dope.
We have a platform. What should we tell them about? Guys, chemtrails are real. Don't vaccinate your kids.
Wow, that's a lot of people we have an ear to.
Yeah, that was just a big joke. I'm actually very much against that. I did see that Alex Jones is trying to destroy Joe Rogan, that's a really...
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a plot twist. They used to be best friends.
I was just gonna say, didn't they used to be buddies?
Yeah, well, Joe Rogan was...
Alex Jones went...
Joe Rogan was one of like Alex Jones's few defenders.
Yeah.
But then I guess Alex Jones felt as if he misrepresented him, so now he's just on the warpath trying to take Joe out. But it's nobody... Alex Jones barely has a platform anymore. And Joe Rogan is like
Joe.
a beloved cult hero.
Yeah, Joe's great.
Yeah.
His show's great.
You got to go on there.
Dude, I would love to go on Joe Rogan.
That would be tight.
That'd be rad.
We'll speak it into existence. I don't know. I mean, shit, he's probably too old to have been a Drake and Josh fan, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he's like 50.
I'd have to go on and just talk about like crazy conspiracies and stuff like that.
Definitely. You got to do DMT before you do it.
Oh my, yeah, I don't know about that one.
You ever done that?
No.
I haven't. I'm thinking about it though.
Out,
I want to do it. I want to get down in that game.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want to have a spiritual journey at some point in the near future.
ayahuasca?
Yeah, I'm down. Like, I just feel like I haven't done any kind of like psychedelics in a long time, and I'm down to try something like DMT. It only takes like 5 minutes.
But are you down with the whole like vomiting and
vomiting?
Yeah, ayahuasca.
Yeah, there's vomiting involved with that. I guess I don't know enough about it.
Okay, so yeah, so basically, it's this mixture that they make, that the shamans make, you know, and it induces vomiting and shitting.
Out the other end,
yeah,
okay.
and you just you do that, and then you have a psychedelic experience. But I can't get. I'm like, I don't want to sit in the bathroom for 4 hours.
If it's
however many hours it is.
4 hours.
No, it's like all night. It's like a whole. It's a whole.
Oh wow.
Journey.
I'm now reconsidering it.
Yeah,
that just sounds like something.
I'm not down with that.
That sounds intense. DMT is supposedly really cool because it only lasts like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's only like exactly.
That
Joe
would be
Rogan
cool.
talks all about it. He's all into it.
I got to get on that. Yeah. Maybe if I do that, then the Joe Rogan invite will take place afterwards.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but I did. I got 3 million views by making a video called "I Vlogged My Acid Trip," and I just did acid. Went out in the woods with my friends.
No way.
And we vlogged it, and I had a lot of weird revelations. At one point, I said Jurassic Park was a vlog about dinosaurs. And that's been like the most quoted thing that people always repeat from that
When
day.
did you do that?
Maybe 3 years ago.
Dope.
Yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago. I can't even believe it. I can't imagine doing that right now. that was very loose. That was a very spur of the moment decision too. Some guy gave me the acid in the bar.
Really?
And I was just like, all right, cool.
I love how we
It's
went
a little
from.
reckless.
I love how we went from like get up in the morning, be focused, have all of your goals in mind.
That was a couple years
ago.
ago.
Also, by the way, but if a dude offers you acid at a bar, vlog it with your friends in the woods. Like, you know.
I was living reckless, man.
Yeah,
but I got 3 million views. It was all worth it.
Yeah, you know what? It's all for the views. All for the views.
Well, that's what I want to do one day. Is I want to just do a podcast with my friends, but I want to all take mushrooms, acid, something like just do something crazy beforehand, and then get on and do a podcast and have and not specifically say it, but have everybody at home probably.
So just not tell everybody, not tell anybody of any of the viewers.
And it's like a prank. Just see what people think.
Yeah, but who's it a prank on?
Yeah,
Is it a
on
prank
ourselves,
on you
really.
guys, or is it a prank on the audience? Because you could just end up going, "Oh man, I have 3,000 people watching every movement that I'm making right now."
I mean, okay, but imagine 4 people doing a podcast together. Everybody takes ecstasy at the beginning of it.
Okay,
It would be insane. It would be so crazy.
I think, well, ecstasy would be a little different than like everyone tripping on mushrooms.
Mushrooms would be weird.
Yeah,
man.
that would just get really weird. Yeah, that would be a whole. That would be.
That's always been my goal. Back in the day when we were still, well, I'm not even going to talk about that. We had a lot of people encouraging us to do a Xanax podcast, but we never.
Oh my god.
Never did it. I thought it would be a little too much.
Or they used to play like that Ambien game where you like take Ambien and try and stay up, and then whoever the last one who passes out or whatever.
Really?
Back in the day.
That was a game. I never knew about that.
I don't know. I never played it. I just heard about it.
Okay.
It was probably one of those things that like was going around on the news just to scare parents about like, you know, hide the drugs in your medicine cabinet kind of thing.
Right.
Like razor blades in the apples.
Right. Now they try to scare people by saying that people are going to be giving away weed candy on Halloween. That's probably not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Who would do that?
Who would do?
But maybe somebody.
First of all, that's expensive.
Yeah.
That's really expensive.
And you should be so lucky,
it's fun.
kid.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
You got high
and it's
for
also
free.
Super. I mean, the fun size, you know, candies are cheap, but a fun size, you know, weed candy is like $25. It's $30. So how? You're just gonna be, here's $30 for this kid. Here's $60, $90, $100. Like, how much money are you?
Well, maybe they make them themselves, so they get it for the low.
Oh,
that's what
right.
I do when I'm giving out weed candy to kids on Halloween.
That's what you make it in.
In reality, I have never given away candy.
How terrible are these people that are like brewing this like drug candy to give to children on Halloween? Do they wear witches' caps and are they turning their ovens to 360,
eating candy on Halloween?
The children inside?
Who's eating candy on Halloween that isn't pre-packaged? Like nobody's giving away cookies on Halloween.
Like,
you know,
if they're making it themselves, if you got home and you had a little plastic with a little bow on it, that goes in the trash.
If my kid gets a Kit Kat, cool. If he gets a packet of M&Ms, cool. If he gets, you know, like a Ziploc bag full of fucking Sour Patch Kids,
Rice Krispie treat in a Ziploc bag
with the label torn off, I'm going to say no. I'm going to turn that one down.
What is a seed in your Rice Krispie treat? Why?
So wait, when you consume cannabis, what's your preferred method of consumption? Besides anally.
Oh my God. Is that available now? Probably.
Imagine they have that at the weed store.
Weed suppository. Yeah, probably.
I've never actually even heard of that, to be honest.
I
would support it.
Probably just like a joint or bong, you know?
You guys got bongs in the studio?
Yeah.
Nice.
Studio, yeah.
DEA
well, in California,
swoops
in California, it's dope because you can do like, it's like just whatever, you know?
Right.
But when you're other places, it's, you know, you got to abide by the rules, so it's kind of different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been known to fly with a weed pen here and there.
We can leave out of California now with it.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it's wild.
Because I'm not breaking the law as
you're leaving.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's up to you.
Then it's up to you. Then you have to insert it into your own body and just pray that TSA doesn't find it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
It's getting
never
it
had a
back
problem.
is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be all good in the next couple of years anyway. They're not looking for weed pens. They're looking for friggin' bombs, and they're looking for hostages. Yeah, sharp objects, right.
Yeah, no, we should be good.
That makes
But speaking
sense.
of, what a segue there. Speaking of the TSA, I have to get to my, I have to get to the airport.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I gotta run and get to, where am I going? Ohio.
Right.
I gotta go to Ohio.
You know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be streaming some Tetris.
Dude, I gotta play that now that you were talking about that.
Oh, it's so fun.
I love Tetris growing
Battle
up.
Royale. Fortnite meets Tetris.
Oh, that's dope.
It's insane.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
It's intense. And I've won a couple times. I'm trying to like put out a dope YouTube clip of me just crushing it.
Have you played a game called Cuphead?
Cuphead. No, I haven't.
No. Did you ever like
think I've
Mario
heard of
Brothers
it.
growing up?
Oh,
You ever like
love Mario Brothers.
Okay.
That was my poison as a kid.
This is Mario Brothers on speed. The game is so freaking hard. It's one of those games where you'll be on every level takes just 12 hours to be. It's just crazy. It's so hard.
Really?
But it's the most addictive and then the most satisfying when you win.
Right.
Because you want to throw your controller through the screen. You want to kick it your TV over, but when you win, you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe I just like you. It's the most it's the most amazing feeling. But and the graphics are really cool too because it's like 1930s. I don't know if it's kind of like Disney, but kind of psychedelic cartoons from like the 1930s, and it's just really cool artwork. But anyway, it's a game you should check out. But it's
I want to check that out.
Yeah, it's a fun game, but it's very hard.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool.
fun
Yeah, because I've actually been playing a shitload of Zelda for the Switch as well,
Zelda's dope.
which I love. I love Zelda ever since I was a little kid.
Yep.
So I've just been like working on that.
I remember, Zelda was awesome, and I always thought it was so cool. Remember when we were kids and it came out with the golden cartridge, dude? That was so rad.
That was the flyest thing in the world to me at that time.
Yeah.
That's why I always said I wanted to get a Zelda grill, but then I got a grill and I wasn't really into it. A Zelda chain, like that cartridge.
Oh, dude.
That could turn me into a
cartridge
chain guy. Yeah.
The gold Zelda cartridge.
Ben Baller, where you at?
Dude, that would be sick.
That would be a
Izzy
flex.
Jeweler.
I could see that would be the kind of thing that would make sense to me.
That would be sick.
Yeah. But then I could get robbed by not only a street dude, but also a gamer.
Also a gamer, yeah.
You'd have a ton of people out for you right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen gamers have like the Nintendo 64 controllers all bling, all jeweled out.
Right.
All iced out.
I seen a streamer who got a Nintendo 64 or maybe a PlayStation controller tattooed on his face, which was cool. When are you gonna get face tat? We need that.
I don't know. Let's see how this record does.
Yeah,
Then maybe that'll garner a face tattoo.
Let's see how many people ask for it in the chat and on your Instagram comments. If people comment on your Instagram saying that they want you to get face tat, then you will in fact do it. That's the idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna get like "Hug Me, Brother" right on my forehead.
always high on your face.
Yeah.
Post Malone, what up? Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, hey, it was good. Good talking to you, man.
Thanks for having me in, man. Thanks for letting me plug my
Do it
music.
again
That was
sometime.
awesome. Of course.
Let me know whenever. Anytime you got new stuff coming out, hit us up.
Yeah, I always love coming by and hanging, man.
To anybody who has donated for their music, I will be in the other studio, in a couple hours on stream. So make sure you turn notifications on so you get alerted when we do this music stream / Tetris 99 stream.
Yeah.
Shout out to Drake Bell.
Yeah, thanks, man. And go check out all this music. It'll be out sometime this week.
Yeah. No Jumper. Coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Bang.